Hey guys, welcome to English for Psychologists and sometimes Criminologists. This is a little intro video for you to get some basic information about the class, and I'm connecting it to the startup quiz because I have kind of the same sort of information and issues that happen every semester. So you can use this video to help you answer the questions to the quiz that you'll see in the assignment section of Blackboard. So the first thing is that there's going to essentially be 4 different graded task categories. The first one is the final exam. Well, that's the last one that you have, but the final exam is the first category. It's 25% of your grade at the end of the semester. Then we have a midterm exam, which usually is a little bit more like, it'll be after Semana Santa probably. Or 2/3 of the way through the semester, and it's 15% of the exam. So the biggest category of grades is graded tasks, and so those are what I call big assignments. And there's a big assignment at the end of every module. We'll do 5. We generally do 5 modules, although in COVID times things can change. So there will be 5 large assignments, and that whole category is 50%, so usually they're 10% per large assignment. And then I have something called small tasks, and what those are ways to practice for the big tasks, and together those are only 10%. And I never accept the small tasks late, but because they're only worth 10%, if you miss 1 or 2 in the semester, they don't have a very big impact on your overall grade. And what they do is they just give you the opportunity to show me something, and I can give you feedback on it if need be. So the next thing that we'll talk about is the communication. So the communication is very easy. I try to communicate with the group as a whole on the Blackboard using announcements. And so make sure that you have your Blackboard configured to send you an email notification if you get an announcement, because if you miss an announcement, you might miss an important change in a date or an exam or something like that. The focus of this class, so you'll notice that there's almost no grammar in this class, because what we are focusing on are building competencies in English. So the difference between a competency and knowledge is, a knowledge is like a specific word. You know how to say the word for, schizophrenia in English. We don't really do that very much because there's too many words for me to teach you. And if I just give you a list of words, maybe they're the right ones, maybe they're not. I also don't worry very much about grammar because you've had so much grammar in the past. The one exception is that there are a few terms that are directly related to psychology that I will cover a little bit in class, but I don't give you a vocabulary section in the exam. So let's go back a little bit to the graded tasks. The graded tasks, I'll always give you a due date for the graded tasks. And if you turn in a graded task late, then you lose 2 points per day that it's late. So if you would have gotten an 8 and you turn it in 1 day late, you get maximum 6. So be very careful about turning in work late. If you know that you're going to have a problem, get in touch with me before the due date, and we can maybe work something out. The exception to that, of course, is the small tasks, which if you don't do them on time, you don't get credit for them, and I don't take them late. When we do, some of the big tasks will be group work, so you'll be with 2 or 3 other students, and one thing that happens is one person will submit in Blackboard the task, and then they'll just say, I was with fulanito, fulanita, and fulano. Don't do that. If you work in a group, every person has to submit to me the work, even if it's the same work. But the reason for that is administrative, because I need to have a notification from Blackboard that you did something. It's much more difficult now that we have these really big classes now, because the university has increased class size a lot. It's much more difficult for me to be able to associate work to students that did not send me something in Blackboard. So always submit something in Blackboard, even if you're in a group. Another thing that happens every semester without fail is that some students will have an overlap, what you guys call a solapamiento with another class. And so people will say, I have a solapamiento and I can't ever come to this class. Can I pass? The answer is, technically you are allowed to do that. So the university will let you take multiple classes at the same time. But the large majority, and I'm talking about like maybe 80% of students that have a solapamiento and try to do this class fail because they lose connection with the class. They don't hand in assignments. They don't understand assignments. They didn't have an opportunity to ask me questions. And one thing that I don't do is, if you're trying to take this class at the same time as another class, I don't give additional time for individual instruction for students that are in that position. So if you miss something in class because you were in another class, you missed it. So I can't tell you to unenroll from the class, but I recommend that you do unenroll from the class and take it another semester when you don't have a solapamiento. So the final thing is, there's always a few students that are in class that have a really high level of English, or they have an English certificate. So if you have a first certificate from Cambridge, that does not excuse you from the class. So you still have to take the class. If you have a really high level of English because you went to school in the United States, either high school or university, or you actually are American or British or something like that, then talk to me and we'll sort of evaluate what that can mean. Because I do understand that having a native speaker in a B2 English class is a little bit strange. So just bring it to my attention and we'll have a conversation about what is possible. All right, welcome to the class, and hopefully we'll be seeing each other. You never know with COVID.